Hey guys, this is Lost45, and today I'm going to be doing something I normally don't do. I'm actually going to be replying via a video. There's no face cam because it's his desktop, so I don't have a face cam. But this is audio, and as you can see, I've got some Batman going because I just wanted to throw something together, and I didn't want you guys to have to stare at a black screen for a while. I want to talk about something that's been popping up that I'm sure a lot of you have seen lately, because it already has 1.7 million views on YouTube, and it's really close to 1.8 actually. It's a video from a guy named Stuart Chafist. I'm going to totally butcher that last name. Whose son, Akian, an autistic kid, went to school. And there had been reports coming home saying that Akian was violent. I mean, I've seen some kids who have been autistic and have been violent. But most of the kids I know who are autistic are not violent. And I've known a few because in my lifetime I have had friends among them. It really pains me, number one, to hear that something like that would be happening, and it confused me when I heard this story to begin with. And then the father starts talking about what really went on. It got to the point where after the IEP and everything else going on, they had to put a wire on a 10-year-old autistic boy. If that happens right there, I think there's a problem going on, and I think that this needs to be investigated no matter what. And it shouldn't be just the kid being investigating there. It shouldn't be just the family being the one investigating it. It should be the government investigating that kind of an issue. There's no reason for a father to have to put a wiretap on his son to make sure that he understands what's going on in school that true day. This happened February 17th, 2012. They came home, according to the father. Akeen came home, and the father grabbed the wire, and he downloaded all the audio, and he sifted through 6 hours of footage. 6 hours. Okay, let's say the day started at 7:35, which, for a 10-year-old autistic boy, I doubt school starts at 7:35. Probably more like 9 or 8:30. And from there, you have to figure 6 hours. The kid probably got home between 1 to 3. Okay, 6 hours after that is 7 o'clock / 9 o'clock. Okay, this guy at that time had listened to 6 pure hours of footage. I know I couldn't listen for that long, hearing what the video clearly demonstrates the teacher said. The teachers are ridiculous in the language they use when addressing Akian. They originally, as you can tell in the video, they begin talking about things that are definitely not appropriate for a school environment, let alone one with kids who are so mentally ill. They begin talking about how the teacher was drunk and how she was having a hangover in the morning and how she was heaving in her toilet. And then they talk about how they want to be sterile and they want their partners to be sterile. And other things are not appropriate for a school, let alone a classroom full of autistic children. Then, what's even worse is, they begin to address Akian. In the audio clip, he says something, and he says along the lines of, will I see daddy after mommy? Most of you would be like, I don't understand what that means. But the father goes on to explain that he was asking because the father and the mother are split up, that after the weekend of seeing his mother, would he be able to see his father? The teachers tell him no. A 10-year-old autistic kid told no. Number one, that's a total outrageous lie. He would go over the weekend and he'd probably come home afterwards and see his dad, and life would be fine and dandy. And the teachers tell him no. Number one, you're plain out lying. Number two, you have no idea. And number three, you should be comforting him, not telling him he's never going to see his father again. Are you ridiculous? The outrage from that alone, if that isn't enough, grows worse. He becomes a little bit attached to the idea, and he's confused why he's not going to see his dad. I mean, he's probably been, the father says he's been in this class for about a year and a half, and it's something that they're used to. They're used to him saying, will I see daddy after mommy? Afterwards he says, can I see? Meaning, can I see dad after mom? They tell him, no, you can't see. That sentence alone, if you don't pick that up there, they're mocking his word usage. That right there made me want to strike the teacher in the face. Number two, they're telling him no again. I can't state how ridiculous that is, and just how Akian must have felt. Afterwards in the video, he starts crying. And personally, I think he was brave to hold on to that point. When I was 10 years old, if I had been told I would not see my dad again, I would have been crying the second they had told me that. And yet Keen just sits there kind of confused, and he confronts the teachers again about that, trying to be brave and understand what's going on. This kid demonstrates in the clips so much courage. You do not hear him cry in any of the clips until they say he cannot see his dad again. I don't know how many people who have... I mean, I understand there are some people who are excluded who have had fatherly issues, which I feel a great pain for also. But for those of you who do know your father, and you do know them well, or for those of you who don't but wish you had a good relationship with your father, if someone had told you no, wouldn't you begin to cry? Wouldn't you be sad? Wouldn't you be confused? Wouldn't you be mad at the world? And he doesn't strike the teacher. He doesn't raise his voice. He cries. It's something that's totally logical for any human to do when told that sentence. I mean, how many of us are going to cry when our fathers die? It's the same thing. They will never see their father again. It doesn't matter if it's because the father is living or because the father is dead. It just matters that he will never see him again. Isn't that worth crying over? Then there are some other audio clips which are on his blog, which I have not yet gotten to process all the way through because I'm missing the plugin. I will include a link to that, by the way. And basically they just continuously state different things that are totally school inappropriate and inappropriate for Keen to be hearing, and inappropriate that they're talking to him as. They separated Keen from a human into something else, and he does not deserve in any way that something else. He does not deserve to be treated like that. He deserves to be treated as a normal human being would be treated. This video kind of struck a little bit close to home for me because my sister actually has been diagnosed with basically borderline everything. Meaning, they're not sure what it is. They know that she has some mental problem, but they don't know what it is and they can't diagnose it. So, hearing that kind of story angers me to an unlimited amount because it's something that I have personally believed in stopping, that is, for the longest time, and it's something that it hits close to home, and I don't understand why someone would do that. If you're wondering what happened to the teacher out of this scenario, he goes on to state that the principal, thanks to a no see no hear policy, basically tell him that the teacher's been moved schools, and the aide Jody, who can repeatedly hear talk and the parent could identify, well, he actually could identify the teacher also, but for the sake of the teacher, he's giving her a second chance. He's being extremely kind. He's giving her a second chance to step forward and say, hey, if you say your last name and you submit a public apology, I'll say no harm done. I'll say, hey, you know what? You did something wrong, but I'm not going to punish you for this. I'm not going to go full out anonymous hacking / amazing fury on you. Something that I don't think I could do. I think if that had happened, there would be a lot worse consequence, and not all of them would just be virtual. The father again shows kindness, but the teacher basically just got moved schools. Jody got fired, and the other aides have not been yet identified who were partaking in this situation. Another instance in this scenario is that when the father emailed after he got the footage, and the father emailed Kelly, the teacher, he said, hey, did someone in your class tell my son to shut up? Because the son had been talking to himself like autistic kids tend to do. And she says, no one put a finger to his mouth and no one told him to be quiet. Number one, the dad didn't ask about the finger, which makes me curious. Did they put a finger to his mouth? And they were just trying to cover it up? I'm confused at that scenario greatly, but I know that that's wrong. That's dead, cold, stone wrong. Nobody deserves that. No one deserves anything like that. Much less a 10-year-old, much less an autistic 10-year-old. That person sickens me to no end, and I felt like I should make a video to address this to my subscribers who have not yet seen the video, or perhaps will not see the video. As a recent light on my channel, you can see that I've been getting a tidbit more views, and I'm hoping that those people who are seeing those Fiesta videos are now going to be able to see this, because I feel like it really needs to be addressed. Because why should we sit back and enjoy our everyday life playing video games, laughing, when we know there's a problem out there, when we know that there's a kid being picked on, when we know that we can prevent this? In the description, I'll be including links to the video itself where you can see the evidence, the blog where you can see more evidence that the father gets to explain it in greater detail, because YouTube does have limits to what you can say on it. And I will upload basically any link that I have about the scenario, plus the pension that the father has made to get legislative action on the bill. He wants the legislature to say, hey, there's no more no see no hear policy. You get direct action. That teacher would get fired under these laws. That teacher would have to resign, and anybody involved in that scenario would be come out, and they would be fired also. That's something that I definitely believe in, and I definitely hope happens. To the father, I would like to say, you're an amazing man, number one. To have that much love for your son, and to go as far as you went, is above and beyond capabilities of most humans, and that extraordinates me every second I think about that. Second, you're doing a great job with your son. I can think of no one better in the world who could raise any autistic child than you. And the care you've shown, that you've evidently shown in this video that you made, definitely bring that out in you. And I hope that this situation is resolved peacefully, or at least resolved in a way where you get compensation. Though I don't think anyone can ever truly compensate for this event, you'll get at least some closure in your family, and Akian will be able to live a life knowing that, hey, I helped stop this from happening in the rest of New Jersey at least. And maybe if someone among my audience, or the audience who sees it, will go into Senate one day and perhaps pass a bill where the whole world will no longer have this no see no hear policy, perhaps this will come out of that. That'd be something that'd be inspiring, that you can say your son was the start of, which is more than most humans can say for their whole life. Once again, sincere apologies to the family for this horrifying event. And at Gamers, do whatever you can. Sign the pension. Get to work on this. Hey, if you're going to become a Senate one day, do something to pass laws like this that can help children everywhere. Would you want, if Akeen was your brother, would you want that to happen to him? Would you be comfortable knowing that there's bullying of other kids going on? Because I'm willing to bet that that bullying didn't just start at Akian. It went on, and it went on, and it went on. It's not just in that one school. It's in all the schools. Everywhere that happens. Even if it's not just teachers, it's students also happening with this. We have to react, because if we don't fulfill life. We don't protect people who need protection. We break everything that America was built on. Good day, at Gamers, and have a nice day, and I'll see you on the far side.